This was very different.
This is another something new, something good.
It required a departure from traditional thinking. It required adopting an entire new perspective, and I enjoyed that.
Almost a culture shift in humanitarian response and crisis relief.
What CVA does and what it promotes is that there is more than one way to give assistance.
It is literally in the name. You're giving people cash and vouchers to help them get the things that they need. In the Caribbean, we have disasters like hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, and even sometimes with heavy rainfall, you can see persons being very distressed because of the displacement that could happen. That is an upheaval for anyone. Any regular person would feel completely out of sorts if their prime focus is to get their family to safety. We've seen time and time again, there are our Caribbean islands, especially in the Eastern Caribbean and definitely in the Northern Caribbean, and sometimes on the, on the continents, we can be majorly affected. Sometimes we have a kind of lax, approach to when a hurricane might be coming towards the region. We tend to think, oh, it's not going to hit us, we'll be all right, it's going to turn, and we're usually caught off guard. We're not always prepared for it.
I think the region has not done the type of work necessary, and almost every island is one incident away from crisis. The fact that every time there's a major incident in whatever island, it takes so long for the persons affected and injured to get help suggests that we aren't ready. We don't have readiness. CVA, to me, provides that mechanism so that we can respond very quickly, very effectively.
As a member of the CALP network, which is the organization that developed this training, we as CARE routinely put on this training for our country offices around the world. And what that normally looks like is CARE staff, so staff at an international NGO. It may include other international NGOs. It may include UN officials or Red Cross officials. It may also include local civil society organizations. What was so special about this training was that it was exclusively for women-led, women's rights, civil society organizations who honestly have been using cash and vouchers for years and decades to help people. But seeing them put it within the international frameworks and seeing how easy it was for them to translate their experience into the international framework was what was most rewarding this week.
What is civil society's strength in delivering cash and voucher assistance is its connection to community and its agility and speed. Government can't always move as fast as civil society. The private sector has different modes of being driven in order to get involved in a disaster. International NGOs, their strength is in being able to gather the funds and to get it to civil society. Everyone has their strengths. Government has systems, international NGOs have the cash, civil society organizations have the connection to the community. And when you bring all of this together, you can deliver a better service to the citizens who are affected. What is needed to make the system run even better is, of course, when civil society organizations have the training, and in this case with CALP, the certification, a specific type of training in order to deliver cash and voucher assistance in a systemized and very, very scientific way.
So this was very unique for me, very exciting, bringing this, knowledge to people who are already entrenched within the grassroots and working with the grassroots and understand the dynamics of the society. So women and girls, as we know, are the most affected when a crisis happens, when a disaster happens. So it was really exciting to be in a room with 90% women.
Women and girls, for lack of a better word, drive culture and drive the home. And often when things happen, they are the ones that feel it first. And so it's important to center them because they are able to pick up on most nuances that are often overlooked in response because they're thinking about the whole picture, not just themselves in many cases. And their responsibility is beyond just themselves in many cases. Thus, their view of a situation is wider than most. So I think that's important to center them to help make sure that we are hitting all parts of crisis response.
Statistics have shown us that when women get resources for the family, they spend up to 70 to 75% of those resources within the family. So focusing on women and girls and ensuring that they get what they need, then we're taking care of the family and the community and the country in return.
After disaster, women and girls are more vulnerable. Speaking plainly, in shelter situations where families, because they've been displaced, they have to seek safety in communal situations, which is necessary in some circumstances. We know that women and girls can be targeted for sexual favors, sexual assault.
We have always had reports of gender-based violence during storms, especially in the shelters. The shelters are not built for privacy, so there is no specific bathrooms, toilets for women or girls and men by themselves. There's no physical partition. So that raises the level of vulnerability. And especially for a single woman who probably already begging lodging with somebody or paying a house rent and is underemployed, she may see that as an opportunity to help her to get out of her situation, whatever it may be. Her refusal can result in physical violence right there in the shelter.
The work that we are doing is to address reducing and ending gender-based violence during and after disaster in the recovery times when people are extremely vulnerable. What we know cash and voucher assistance can do is help alleviate that. Persons now don't need to go out and jump out their skin, as we say, and do things that might put them in further harm. And harm isn't always physical violence. It comes in many different ways. It could be financial abuse, it can be physical, it can be psychological. We know that cash and voucher assistance can absolutely address these things.
There is not much importance placed on mental health and wellness. It's something that's often overlooked. And seeing how disasters have affected persons around me, the trauma of losing your home, losing your loved ones, sentimental items. It's you get told, but you're still alive, everything will be okay, you have life. Not much thought is given to how does this impact or affect somebody emotionally. In such a situation, an individual does not need a hamper to feel better. Maybe at that time they need systems in place where they can go and speak to somebody and just have that support so that they are able to function in society as they rebuild.
the field trip that we took to the farm, up by Helena's farm, was really a great way of taking what we were learning in the session and applying it to a real lived experience. We were able to hear from Helena and her daughter Liana how they're affected when a disaster hits.
Helena, who is one of the first members of Helen's daughters, and so she will be taking us around on her lovely property. It's all organic.
My name is Helena, you can call me Thomas. Welcome to In Bloom, Mother's Nature's Way.
As suppliers, two persons in terms of, necessary food items, they're growing vegetables and herbs, they are feeding people. When they're affected, they also require assistance in order to get their business and to get their families back on their feet right away in order to function and to continue. What was amazing for me about Helena is she embodied through her stories a woman who is ready to do the work to take care of her family, to take care of her community, because as a businesswoman, she's also hiring others.
I will be always happy to work for myself. I'm proud to be a farmer now.
Awesome. She has that amazing understanding of what is required to get back to business after a disaster. She was very clear. I need cash. I need the money.
I think it was explained to you, part of who we are. Yeah. We're a group of folks representing civil society organizations. We're from 14 countries, 12 of them here in the Caribbean, including St. Lucia. I'm from the US. My colleague Sahara is from Kenya. Or what would you think about if cash or vouchers were the thing that people were able to assist you with?
Helen's daughters, they assist me with to bring the farm back. They will give me compost to help me. Sometimes most of the compost wash away from too much rain. And if I have to, they will give me a check to buy the plastic on the greenhouse.
Organizations that thought cash was new to them realized that, this is something that we do. Yes, we do it, but they didn't know it's like cash and voucher assistance. So they actually give cash, they give checks to the farmers. We went and saw the farm, Helen, and she said she received a check. And when we asked her about cash and voucher assistance, she didn't think it's cash and voucher assistance, but she got a check when the disaster happens. For me, that really stood out, that actually organizations are doing cash, but in different ways. And so we're preparing them to respond and to bring the government, the disaster departments, other organizations to come together and see how we can make humanitarian assistance more dignified.
Finance has been averse to cash because it doesn't have the type of controls that other mechanisms for giving people money or sharing money has. Cash is a faceless bearer bond. Once you tender it, you do know where it comes from. Maybe you don't even know where it's going to go. People have been averse to it because of that.
It will be a brave Caribbean bank that is able to show up for the citizens of the Caribbean that would get involved in something like cash and voucher assistance. Because we know the ways that it can be facilitated and administered, we are ready to partner with a bank that will say, right, these are the rudiments of how it's done, and be willing to do it across the region. Definitely some banks at the local level, but because this is the Caribbean Gender Alliance, because this is the Caribbean Humanitarian Partnership Platform, because this is a space for civil society throughout the region, a financial service provider that is able to work with us to get this mechanism going is definitely going to assist many Caribbean citizens prepare for a disaster. We don't have to wait until it happens. We would be ready in advance to help persons in the hours, literally in the hours and days after a disaster.
I think there's an opportunity for huge reform, rethinking, reimagining the way that we deliver benefits and we deliver support and we deliver aid. And I feel with the right type of work, the right type of assessment, we can find novel ways of implementing CVA across the region.
This experience has been probably one of the most professionally affirming experiences I've ever had. The nonprofit world has always been my love, my profession. I enjoy this work. I enjoy seeing humanity reach its full potential. And I think being in a room full of like-minded women that see it the same way and also are experiencing the same hiccups and struggles along the way, it has really opened my eyes to know that yes, I made the right career decision and that there is a lot of hope for our future.
Moving forward, I know that civil society not only can, but will take their rightful place in all parts of the humanitarian system in the region. Not just with cash and voucher assistance training, but in all of the aspects of how the region working together responds to emergencies.
What CARE is doing with the Caribbean Gender Alliance is really a game changer for me, because we are working with the local grassroots organization, as I said. We are not present as CARE, but we are empowering the organizations to take the leadership. Take leadership in cash and voucher assistance, take leadership in being a humanitarian responder. We can make localization work if we need to. And for me, this is a very big example.